how to build authority, your authority, how to make it authentic and meaningful and personal for you. The key to authority is to feel comfortable and to make others around you feel comfortable as well. You know, we have this idea potentially of what authority is. Someone walks into the room and takes charge. Someone who maybe is a little bit more than just bossy, but maybe autocratic. This is not authentic authority. Authentic authority means being able to hold the room through your charisma, your presence and sense of leadership, your competencies, confidence, and influence on others in a good way, the ability to share your mission. So let's talk about these 7 aspects of authentic authority and how you can build your skills today. Coming up next on Project Skills Mentor. And if you want to know more about any of this content, I've got playlists that I'll put at the end of this video so you can check out more videos that help with aspects of confidence, authority, getting rid of self-doubt, and more. And also on my blog are free downloadable tools to help you understand your personal why, goal setting, and how to build your skills in terms of networking and other key areas that are so important to your ability to be authentic. Let's break down these 7 skills, starting with self-knowledge. You know, Aristotle said, know thyself. And you have to understand what you're good at, what your strengths and weaknesses are, what you don't know as well. If, for instance, you're trying to act like you're an expert in an area, you will reduce your authority in the eyes of others. So don't do that. Be aware of who you are, what you stand for, what your values are, what you bring to the table, and what your value is. Now, let's talk about self-respect. It should be obvious, but of course, to respect others, you first need to respect yourself. And if you don't respect yourself, how can you expect others to do so? This has to do with self-love as well as self-knowledge, but more than that. It has to do with fostering a sense of self. Of course, true leaders with real authority think of the others around them. Think of the team first. But don't forget to think about yourself and what you need. If you're tired and you're out of sorts and you've let yourself get emotional, that does not help your sense of authority or your sense of self for that matter. So I'd like you to ask yourself 3 questions. 1, are your choices and actions in alignment with your values? Are your education and ability in line with your goals? And are the people you surround yourself and the people who you get energy from in alignment with your sense of self? Or are perhaps these people diminishing you in some way? Don't let someone else take your power, but don't let that someone be you either. Presence and charisma are so important. You know when a CEO walks into the room, everyone is acknowledging them partly because of who they are, but also the presence and charisma they often emanate. We tend to think of these people as having unique skills, but they aren't unique skills. These skills are buildable. Of course, some people are more extrovert and some others are more introverted, but authentic authority, leadership, presence, and charisma can be yours uniquely. The easiest thing to think about is body language and voice, because those are the most easy for others to see and for you to learn. Charisma comes with that self-confidence, feeling comfortable in your own skin, and a few tips and tricks I can give you now. One of the key components you'll see with a leader about body language is the space they take up. In other words, they take up enough space. They're not trying to make themselves small and diminutive. They are trying to own the stage. Their shoulders are back, their head is up, they are making eye contact. These are all aspects of self-assuredness and natural authority. So when you enter a room, think about, are you taking ownership of your personal space? Are you making eye contact with others? Perhaps greeting them, shaking hands? And while this all may not make sense for your culture, do what's appropriate for your culture and for your company and the situation. Don't pace unless you're trying to look at multiple parts of the room. Don't create tics. You know, there's fluffing with the hair and repeated things with your hands. Don't do that. You want to look comfortable, and being comfortable and at ease for yourself is also important for people who are watching you. They shouldn't have to kind of cringe or feel awkward about watching you because you've got some repeated tic. A good way to deal with this is take your phone and videotape yourself while you're giving a talk. Then look back and see what you're doing. If you're doing all the right things, great. If you haven't mastered everything. Now let's move on to voice. Of course, everyone's voice is unique and personal. You don't want to try to fake a voice, but you do want to be mindful of how you're using your voice. So first of all, pace. Are you talking too fast, too slow? Either one of these can be disruptive to the room and reduce your authority. Another is your modulation. Monotones are boring. Don't be boring, but excessive modulation can also be annoying. Volume. Speak loud enough so people can hear you easily, but not shouting. Your pitch. Speak with the lowest natural register you can muster. As your voice goes up, it can get more screechy, and also it can sound out of control, highly emotional. And really authoritative people may get excited, may be enthused, may be impassioned, but they don't get emotionally out of control. Self-control is one of the cornerstones of being authoritative. And when you're making statements, make them statements. Don't end up and down when you're making a statement. You don't want to end in a question. You don't want to say, I feel this is important data. And lastly, the use of non-words. Your presence is diminished, your authoritative stance is diminished if you use words like I think, you know, like, in inappropriate ways. Filler words, if you will. If you're having a problem with that, join Toastmasters. They have a whole process to help people address filler words. Once you've mastered that, you can sound confident and authoritative. Next is confidence. Confidence is core to authority. If you are confident, it's because you know your topic, you know what you don't know, so do your homework. There's no easy way around this. Some people struggle with confidence. It's a big one. Maybe you have self-doubt, and maybe you have the imposter syndrome, that feeling that you are going to be found out to be not the person everyone thinks you are. This is common with some people, and the fact is, it's an important point to overcome if you want to have authentic authority. So check out this video to see more on that topic and get some ideas on how to conquer those issues. Next is your credibility, and this is wrapped up in a lot of different points that we've already discussed, but 2 key points here. 1, know what you know and have the presence of mind to know what you don't know. And when you don't know, get the experts, ask them. And when you state a fact, make sure it's a real fact. And 2, you need to do what you say and say what you do. People need to know that if you make a decision, you own it, you don't blame others, and you take the corrective actions you need to if a decision goes wrong. If people know that they can trust you, that you're not going to backpedal or throw somebody under the bus, you'll have the credibility you need that when you do make a decision, people believe in it. Next is influence. Now, influence can be a whole lot of different aspects, but here with authentic authority, I mean the kind of influence that helps you, 1, concisely get your ideas across, so you're not just babbling with no end to the story, that you're very clear about you're giving this illustration to make this point with this amount of data. The other part of influence can be storytelling. So you're creating a vision. You're creating a sense for the future. You want to help people understand your ideas through storytelling. This can be very powerful, especially when you're trying to get people to understand a point of view that is new to them, or when you're trying to get them to behave in a new way. Storytelling is so compelling, that's why we all love the movies. We love that character arc between the hero overcoming a challenge and becoming that new person they want to be, fulfilling themselves. When your audience sees themselves as a hero in your story, they will follow you. If you want to know how to tell a story in a business setting, check out this video. And now you may be wondering what the 7th topic is. It's kindness. I've seen a lot of new leaders who have authority, but unfortunately fall into the little Napoleon trap, as I call it, where they believe that every decision needs to be theirs, every success needs to be owned by them, every failure is somebody else's problem. And in those cases, what you see is diminished authentic authority. People can see right through that. It is a fear-driven process when you take over and try to be the big boss. In fact, you're the little boss at that point. So remember to be kind, to let your team shine, and to be authentically authoritative but kind every step of the way, on the good days and on the bad. Control your emotions, keep them in check, and make sure you're leading by example, because if you're kind, your team will be kind. And a kind team is a funner place to work, and generally high performing. I hope you found these 7 principles of authentic authority helpful. I'd love to hear what you think about the keys are for authentic authority, and especially if you have a comment or a question that I can help you with, let me know in the comments below. Please consider giving this video a like, and maybe share this video with others. And if you're wondering about how to get centered with the core of your authority by understanding your personal values, check out this video. And I'll see you next time on projectskillsmentor.com. Bye-bye, everybody.